I'm looking forward to asking Spencer this question. So what the H?
What the? What was he thinking?
Release the hounds.
The Dave Hooker Show.
Keep cool.
A presentation of offthehooksports.com.
I'm going to throw some numbers at you, Spence. So we
You
reported,
know, numbers lie to you to a degree.
That's true, but these are cash money numbers.
Okay.
So we broke that Cooper Mays on Friday was not going to participate in senior day. I think it's a sure sign he's coming back and wants to work some stuff out. And the bottom line is, I think a lot, and he has not told me this, but the bottom line is I think it comes down to what kind of package that the Spire Group or whoever the case may be, maybe somewhat me at Off the Hook Sports, can come up with cash. I mean, he is a paid 1099 employee of Off the Hook Sports. So it sounds weird to say that Cooper is the most important player coming back to this team next year. That's why I say what the H, but man, I think it is. And I don't even think it's close. If they get him back after what I saw against Florida, that could be worth 2 or 3 wins. And I'm not exaggerating, Spencer. Am I crazy?
If he's healthy. At the end of the day, you look at free agency, you know, I mean, everybody goes through a physical, everybody goes through all this stuff before they sign the deal, right?
Yep.
So if he's healthy, I think he's definitely worth it. If he's injured, I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, you look at it from the business aspect, you know what I mean? Is he worth 2 or 3 wins when he's healthy? Sure. But if he's not healthy and he's not in the ballgame, what's he doing for you? You know what I mean? I'm not being, I mean, he may be, he's probably a great teammate and he's right. And he seems like to be, you know what I mean? He seems to be. But at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Yeah. Is he worth having on your ball club? Yeah, 100%. You got to try to make that deal. But at the end of the day, is he going to be healthy enough to play every game next year?
Great question. Caleb, thoughts?
So, Spencer, we're talking right now, you know, from the booster, if you're a Tennessee booster's perspective and you know you have this amount of money and you want to spend it to keep a certain amount of players, it's basically at this point like free agency in the NFL, which is you have to kind of play what you have against the cap. So would you, given how important he was this year when he was healthy, would you take the risk and invest in keeping Cooper Mays knowing his injury troubles this year? Like factoring that in?
Yeah, for sure. Yes, because here's the way I look at it. We know what he is. You go in the transfer portal, you don't really know what you're getting.
Well, yeah. I mean, Tennessee.
If you're trying to solidify that spot in the offensive line, which they need to get in the transfer portal and find some linemen, if they can find 4 transfer offensive linemen, they need to take 4 transfer offensive linemen.
No, I got no argument with that as well as Spencer Riley.
And they need to take 4 transfer DBs.
Yeah, I would be okay with that one. And be sure you get the right ones as well. I thought the top 3 players. Okay, so let me throw these numbers at you. Here are the numbers. The top paid center in the NFL makes $14.25 million. His name's Jason Kelsey. No, he is not the one that's sleeping with Taylor Swift, but I bet he wishes he was. And then you have Joe Burrow making $55 million a year. At the end of the day, is if you've got Nico making what, $8 million, is Cooper worth $1 million? Is he worth $500,000? The NFL rookie minimum is $750,000. I don't know that you have to get to that number, but you got to get somewhat close, don't you, Spencer?
Well, that's probably what he'll make if he goes into the draft. I mean, I don't know if he's a first round. I don't know if he's a first day guy. You know what I mean? First 3 round guy. I'll just be honest with you. I mean, I'm not an expert in that, but I just don't. I think there's better players to get to that point than Cooper Mays in the draft. Does that make sense? What I'm saying?
Yes.
So that's why I think he would fall to around 4, 5, or 6 guy, 7. So I mean, that's kind of where I see it. So I mean, if you're getting close to that number, I figure that he needs to stay and take the money.
Yep, I agree.
All right, so Spencer, couple others that we wanted to talk about. Brew McCoy. Now we hear rumors and here,
Pay
you
him.
know, you're paying him. You're not even
Pay him.
questioning. Pay him.
Pay him.
Even you
So-
think he'll be fully 100% with that broken leg coming back?
Pay him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we dealt with that in the spring game when going in. Peerless Price broke his ankle in the spring game. I want to say going into the national championship year.
No, it was. It was
was
definitely going in the 98.
I mean-
you guys
I
had
mean-
such a physical spring. It was ridiculous.
I mean, didn't seem to bother him. Depends on his how his toughness is and all that good stuff. So, you know what I mean. But I definitely would pay him because he's definitely the best receiver you got on your team.
There's a couple of people saying I love Coop to death, but none of our offensive linemen were in shape. Now, I'm going to defend Coop, not just because he works with us, but when you miss as much time as he did, it's hard to get into football shape without playing football, Spencer. I think you would agree with that. But did you notice the offensive linemen weren't in shape this year? I didn't. That's the first time that's come up in
I couldn't say that. You know what I mean? I wouldn't. I'm not there either. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to tell. You know what I mean? On TV, there's so many. You get so many breaks during a TV game. There's enough time to catch your breath, enough time to regain your composure and to be ready to go for the next play.
So here's my take. Here's my what the H is Dave saying take. If you could get Cooper, and there's a long list of guys that could come back or could leave. Jalen Wright would be one of those who I think we agree is an elite tailback. But if you could get Cooper, Brew McCoy, and here's the curveball, Keenan Pili gets another year because he's missed almost 2 entire seasons with an ACL and tricep injury, respectively, in his last 2 years. If you could take those 3 guys compared to everybody else, you would take those 3 guys and go to the bank because I think they make you a way different football team than anybody else that it might be considering the transfer portal. Would you agree or disagree with that, Spence?
I know I'm taking the first 2. The other one, you're not seeing enough to know if you can do it or not.
It's very true.
No, but I've seen enough of the people who replaced him.
True.
Yeah.
But there you go. But you can go get somebody cheaper out of the portal that you know
That might be
that
true,
you
right.
you know what I mean. That's just a business aspect of it from my point of view.
And I
Yeah,
like Spencer,
Nothing
you
against the
probably know.
kid. You know what I mean. Nothing against the kid.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Kev.
Spencer, I'm it's crazy to me, but I'm realizing it now how much a middle linebacker just totally can 180 how good a defense plays. And I'm sure you guys saw that in 98,
Yeah.
right? When Al Wilson moved over to middle linebacker, it had to completely change the defense, didn't it?
Oh, I mean, yeah, definitely. You know, he's the mouth of the team. You know, he's the guy who gets us all lined up and gets us the front lined up and the secondary lined up and let's go play football. You know, and it needs to be somebody that has a bad attitude that really, really hates the people playing across from them.
Amen to that. That's the dudes they need. Now, Darla asked a question: is there a cap in NIL money? There's not a cap, but
How much you can raise.
that's right. But here's the thing, Spencer, as I don't know if you contribute to the university at all, and perhaps I contribute to the communication department. But I will say this. If somebody came to me and they said, we want you to spend $100 because I don't have $100,000. But if they said $100 in helping us get this wide receiver from Oregon, or you can spend it on a guy, I'm not even going to take Coop. I'll take a guy. I know Ramel Keaton can't come back, but that type of guy, the plug away that's worked hard for 4 years and gotten better throughout his time. I'd rather give my money to that guy. But here's the real curveball. If I'm given that type of money, I can have a building named after me, Spencer.
Sure.
I mean, I can give
no
it
doubt.
because giving it to the university, people need to understand that people giving it to the university and giving it to NIL are 2 different things.
For sure. All right, dude. Well, I got to get off here. I got to go do something for a meeting. I apologize. I can cut it short today. I apologize.
No problem, buddy. You take care of that football.
Sorry,
team.
guys.
Gotcha.
I appreciate
Spencer, I really appreciate that. So what are your thoughts on that, Caleb? Would you rather give it to the university and have a school named after you, or quietly sit there and say, "Hey, I paid for that Bob Jones guy, and Tennessee's winning the national championship thanks to me"?
All right, I'm going to tell you, I'm a history
Would you
major.
rather? Let me ask you this: would you rather pay for Nico quietly and nobody knows that you were the guy that paid for Nico, or would you rather have the communications building named after you at the University of Tennessee, the Calhoun Communications Building?
I'm going to tell you why I'd rather pay for Nico quietly. I study history. I am an expert in Gilded Age history, which was where this all started. This whole idea of like endowing libraries or whatever to name stuff after you, so you could whitewash or it was the version of sports washing of the day. Whitewash your horrible crimes against humanity. Andrew Carnegie is the worst. Carnegie Hall in New York. Andrew Carnegie, horrific excuse of a human being.
The Nobel
Now,
Peace Prize was named after the guy who invented dynamite.
Alfred Nobel invented dynamite.
It's not Stryker or Stricker, but they had all kinds of things named after them, and they were the ones that created OxyContin.
Yes, the Sackler family. The Sackler family.
Sackler.
They didn't just create OxyContin and flood the market. They then patented the drug to help get you off being addicted to OxyContin. They should all be in prison. So what we're reaching an era in human history where we're realizing people who endow their names on stuff are just total horrible human beings and embarrassments to society. So I don't want my name
all
on
the
anything.
time.
I only want my name on something for accomplishments I had, not because I threw a bunch of money at something. Cough, the Haslam building at Tennessee. What's Jimmy Haslam's name like among university people right now, Dave? It's mud. Nobody respects him. That's why I can do this show and trash him all the time. And even though he has the business building named after him. And it's because Jimmy Haslam was a horrible businessman and just a horrible runner of everything he ever touched.
Yeah, and then you've got Big Jim Haslam. What was named after him? I don't know that anything was. I don't know that he cared. Portions of the program brought to you by
Jimmy
Tennessee.
Haslam who wanted the name after him.
Yeah, it was Jimmy, not Big Jim.
He's so arrogant and pathetic at everything he does in life.
Yep. Portions of the program brought to you by Tennessee Cider Company, the original hard cider of the Smoky Mountains. Use the promo code HAT. That's HAT to receive some free swag with your order, available most anywhere in the United States of America. Let me make it a little bit more complicated. Go to tncidercompany.com, support our sponsors, use the promo code HAT for Tennessee Cider Company, free swag with any order. Let me make it a little more complicated. You could have the Calhoun weight room, okay? Or you could have the Calhoun Calisthenics lab, which I like because it just kind of has a little bit of alliteration to it, where you are known to be associated with the football program specifically, not the econ department, but the football program. Or you can quietly subsidize Nico Iamaleava.
Quietly subsidize Nico. Nico will bring in the money for yes. I'm quietly subsidizing Nico. I mean,
but what if Nico Iamaleava is a bust? Then you don't have anything.
Really, I have nothing. I'm losing all my money doing this. Okay, I'll just go buy another quarterback at this point. I think. Look, it speaks unless it's for business, unless it's for your personal business reasons that you realize it's good for your branding and it really speaks to people when they try to put their name on something by just throwing money at it. That's 90% of the time them trying to cover for them being horrible. And if you have your name, like Michael Jordan didn't pay to have a statue of himself. Here's the difference. Actually, this is a big thing. Michael Jordan, LeBron, where the biggest differences are. Michael Jordan has a statue of himself outside of the Chicago Bulls Stadium because of what he did. LeBron is opening a museum about himself. Which one looks worse?
Okay, but okay. LeBron also helps a lot of kids get to school, but he does publicize it, so there's nothing.
He makes a public spectacle of it.
Yeah, he made a public spectacle of it. I guess the anonymity would be fine with me. I'll ask you, but here's the other argument. If you build the nicest calisthenics lab in the United States of America, you're more likely to have an impact and lasting effect on the program than you are just by helping the Vols get one player. You'd have to agree with that, right? I mean, Nico could be a bust. We don't think that, but Nico could be a bust, right?
Yes, he could be, but I mean, I'll just go buy another quarterback.
Oh, well, that's fair. What if all your money's tied up in Nico?
If you're tying all your money up in Nico, then you're just a terrible business person, and that's one of the dumbest things you can do is to tie up your money in NIL.
I agree. Why Banks and Jones, other lawyers say they'll go to trial. They won't. They'll settle and settle for less. Banks and Jones is ready to go to trial for you. Truly, Tennessee's trial attorneys. Why settle? Banks and Jones, led by T. Scott Jones, will line up for you, whether that's personal injury, criminal defense, DUI defense, even medical malpractice. Others, they'll just settle. Banks and Jones, Tennessee's trial attorney. Play to win. They'll go to trial for you. Banks and Jones. Go to banksjones.com. Criminal defense as well, or just simply click below. And they're one of the few that'll take medical malpractice because it's so tough to win those cases in the state of Tennessee. You're going to have the toughest, best lawyers with T. Scott Jones. I'm telling you, go to banksjones.com.